Hey, what's going on everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit, and I'm super excited for this video series. It's a 6-part video series, and inside, this is my house, just moved in here about 4 months ago, is one of my subscribers, Paul. And I put out a video probably 3 weeks ago, and I said, hey guys, I wanna invite one of my subscribers over to my house, and I wanna teach them how to build a book business on Amazon from scratch. Just like I was able to teach my mom. I'll put a picture of her right here. She's 67 and she literally had zero experience. She didn't even know how to click a mouse. She didn't know anything about a computer. You know, one of her questions was, what's an app, Steven? What's an app? I told her to download the Amazon Seller app. So I was able to teach her, and now she does anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month selling books. Yeah, physical books on Amazon. So in this video series, we're literally gonna go inside right now and get started. I'm gonna introduce you to my buddy Paul. Paul's an eBay seller, and he wants to build a book business and add an extra couple $1,000s a month profit to his bottom line. And I'm gonna teach him how to do it. But this isn't gonna be like any other video out there. And I know I'm guilty of it. You know, a lot of us YouTubers, we make videos where we kind of miss some of the important details. And maybe you go to a thrift store or you sit down to send an Amazon shipment out and you're just like, how do I do it? Like, Steve gave all this great value, but he was missing like some of these pieces. This video is gonna be like documentary style. It's gonna be long. It's gonna be very long-winded. So if you don't have patience, if you're like, you know, I want a 5-minute video that's gonna teach me 5 steps to make $5,000 a month in 5 minutes, like, don't watch this video. This is gonna be real, it's gonna be raw. We're gonna connect with Paul, we're gonna learn about him, his story, and literally we're gonna share everything from, you know, how to start an Amazon account, how to scan books, how to analyze books. I'm gonna share with you exactly where to go find the books. I'm gonna teach you guys how to ship all the books. We're gonna go through an Amazon FBA shipment together. I'm gonna share all my tools, all my equipment, everything. And again, this is gonna be more of like a documentary style. I'm not gonna be looking in the camera all the time. I'm gonna be working with Paul, and you're gonna meet him in a second, and I'm gonna just be teaching him. He's gonna be asking questions, and this is gonna be raw. This is gonna be unfiltered. This is gonna be like, you know, like a lion in the jungle and you're watching from a tree, right? This isn't gonna be, you know, kind of super hands-on with you guys. So I want you to watch, I want you to enjoy this, I want you to take notes. And, you know, there's gonna be a couple things that, you know, I'm obviously not gonna be able to include. There's a ton of things. So I'm gonna put a link down below in the description to a free resource that's gonna go more in depth in terms of how to sign up for an account, how to reprice your books, a lot of the back-end administrative stuff. So you can check that out as well, and I'll put all the resources down below. But with that being said, let's go inside. We got Zach behind the camera right now, and let's meet Paul. We were just talking for like 10 minutes, and this guy's unbelievable. He said he used to weigh over, I think over 500 pounds, and now the guy's thin, he's fit. So you guys know me, like I give it to anybody who could change their body and their health. Like, I know he has a sharp mind, so I know he can do it. I'm stopped. Come on, let's go inside, cut the camera. Hopefully you're enjoying the video so far. Real quick, I wanted to shout out the sponsor for today's video, and that's restrictedinventory.com. You know, selling on Amazon is amazing, but certain products, especially popular textbooks, CDs, DVDs, there's certain items that you're not gonna be able to sell. Amazon restricts it. So what do you do? What do you do if you come across a book or a DVD that's gonna make $50, $60, $80 profit? Well, most resellers, they're gonna pass up on it. Big, big mistake. If you come across those items, send them to Avery over at restrictedinventory.com. This is exactly what I do. I'll put a link to that down below. All you have to do is create a free account. There's a dashboard. It shows you all your inventory. It shows you your profits. So just throw it all in a box, ship it to Avery at restrictedinventory.com, and when it sells, they'll split it with you 50-50. It's awesome. I've been using this service for well over 1.5 years now. It's great, and I definitely recommend it. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. Sorry, it's early. I have too much. Are we good to go? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit, and this is probably gonna be one of the times I'm gonna actually address the camera, because today's gonna be all about Paul and I. Paul, he actually watched my video, what, probably 2 weeks ago or so?
About that, yeah.
I was filming it right there, man. And what happened, man? So you watched this video, and how did you end up here right now?
Just you presented the opportunity to have somebody come down and meet with you, to be able to go through an Amazon shipment and learn a lot of the basics, which is something that I don't have experience with Amazon.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about why you want to start a book business, because that's the goal. Like, that's why you're here. You came from what, New York?
Yeah, upstate New York is where I'm currently helping take care of my mom before I probably head back to the south before winter's setting in here. So
yeah, cool. So you came all the way out here to build a book business. Now, like, what's the reason why you decided to like come here and like actually want to do this with me, and why weren't you able to do it on your own? And this doesn't mean like any criticism, but for the people who are watching right now, there's a lot of people who they want to start a business and they don't ask for help. They try to do it all on their own. They try to watch YouTube videos, Facebook, follow Facebook groups and whatnot. And a lot of people still have a hard time starting. And I'm curious because like one of my downfalls now as a YouTuber is I've been selling books for 7 years, right? I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars on Amazon. I don't say that to brag or boast, but I have. Like, I felt my mom start a business. So like, I'm like becoming disconnected. And I was telling you about this on the phone. Like, I'm disconnected to like some of the challenges that people have when they're first starting. Because for me, I'm just like, what do you mean? You just download the Amazon Seller app, you get Scout IQ, you go out, you scan, you analyze, like the app tells you what to do, you send out a shipment. Like for me, it's easy. But there's a lot of people, and you're not the only one, who they can't figure it out. So I'm kind of curious, like, what was holding you back and what made you want to come here?
Well, I think a lot of it can come down to like, I have experience with eBay, and then, it's the same as, if you're going to flip from like an Android to an Apple, like you're dealing with a completely different operating system. So, when you're just looking at the structure of the way things are set up with Amazon, there's just a lot more to question, I guess. Especially when you're doing FBA, and
it's different.
It's just a very different setup. And then, like you start to kind of see like people will get fined for too many UPCs or something because you didn't put the sticker on correctly. Yeah.
It's easier to get suspended on Amazon than eBay for sure.
Yeah, and so like it's one of those things like you just don't want to take that risk, and and then you don't feel comfortable doing it, and it's just kind of.
So it's like the fear of like, it's like you don't know if you're going to step on a landmine or not. You're kind of scared because with eBay you can get away with a lot of this stuff, right? So you're not as scared. It's more simple. But with Amazon, it's almost like you were held back because you don't want to make a mistake that can get you like kicked off or something.
Right, and that's I used to actually deliver boxes to Amazon, and just like watching their warehouses are so automated. So it's like if you make a mistake, like at what point does that get caught? Does it get you in trouble? And
that's interesting.
It's like you said, like with eBay, if I screw something up and like I just send the wrong item to the customer by mistake, I'm working with that customer. But if I mislabel a sticker or don't process things correctly in how you set up a shipment in those Amazon accounts, and it's just a whole different problem that's there.
And that's the scary thing about like selling on Amazon versus eBay. And the thing with eBay is just, it's like a one-sided coin. On eBay, you have to store everything at your house. There are no fulfillment centers. Like when you list something, like you're storing it at the house, like you're taking all the pictures, you're creating the listing, the description, like you're shipping it out, you're dealing with customer service, returns, refunds, like you're doing everything. It's all in your control. Like as an eBay seller, it's like we're in control. We have all the control. But as an Amazon seller, to kind of back up a step, there's two sides of the coin. There's a merchant seller, which is similar to an eBay seller because you can store everything at your house. But we're talking about what we're going to teach today is Amazon FBA, right? Mm-hmm. That's what scares you, is the FBA part, which is the fulfillment by Amazon. Because you're right, like you give up a ton of control when you're selling as an FBA seller because you're sending all your items to the warehouse. They're out of your hands. You're not even creating your own descriptions. You're piggybacking on other people's descriptions as well and other people's listings. So it's scary. And I think that's like a big fear for a lot of people in business is like not having that control.
Yeah, and it's, all it takes is, it seems like, is like one small mistake, and then it throws everything off in there. And then, like there's times where like I've gone through like scan books, and, there's usually at least two. One's like a restricted audio book, which you understand, and then but then there'll be like two paperback ones, where I'd get it if it was a hardback, paperback, and audio book, but and then like one will have like a dramatically lower rank than the other one, and it's like, is it just because this person just somebody went in and started a...
Oh, we're going to be covering all this today. I was telling people in the introduction, you better be prepared. These are going to be long videos, very long-winded videos, because I'm going to answer all of your questions. Like, all these fears that you have are actually legitimate. They're very legitimate. But this is one of the things that holds a lot of people back from starting a business, especially an Amazon business, is like the fear of the unknown. And the truth is, even after this whole process where I teach you everything and I'm going to share with you like my best tips and secrets, whatever, right? Things that I've learned from my experience, there's still a chance that you could get suspended. There's still a chance that something could go wrong. And then guess what? The odds are something probably will go wrong. But that's business just in general. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to share with you, based on my experience, 7 years experience, some of the things like to easily avoid. Some of the mistakes to make sure that you don't do that. Like, don't seem logical, but like you don't want to do that. Like, I'm going to talk about like going through the various listings and dealing with restricted books and jumping on the right listings. But just in business in general, like there's always a chance. Like, for example, even like coming here right now, like driving here, there was a chance that, not to be like crazy, like Gary Vee does this sometimes. He talks about like the crazy worst stuff that could happen. Like, you could have gotten in a car accident. Mm-hmm. Like, there's always a risk. Like, there's always a risk with anything you do. So the goal today is to minimize the risk. There's no business that anyone's going to ever be able to start where there's not like a risk. Right. And there's people all the time who get suspended. They get kicked off. Even on eBay as well. I just had a guy message me yesterday. He just got booted off of eBay for like no reason. Like, it could happen. So it's all about minimizing risk. So that's what we're going to do today. And you got to feel the fear and just go through it anyways. And I know how scary it is, like, to start a new business. It's super scary.
Yeah, I've started more than one. You know, I've been an independent contractor since like 2010.
Oh, really?
With transportation and different things. But, you know, I mean, like a lot of, like when we were talking on the phone, you know, like you said, you just wanted to do something different because so many of the videos are just talking heads, or, you know, like if it's all like haul videos and, you know, like that's great, you know, like to, you know, to get a knowledge base of different products and everything. But like the, you know, the unsexy things of like, how do you actually pack those books in a box?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, like to me, like that's something I would question just based on my history of like working in warehouses and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know like there's some places that are very particular, like, do they need to be face up, and, you know.
Yeah. And these are the questions I want you to ask. Like, and why do YouTubers not make these videos? Because they don't get views. Like, who's gonna, like, I mean, possibly you can get some views, but like, these aren't like the most sexy topics, but like, these are the topics that kind of matter. So we're gonna go through all of that, man. We're gonna cover it all. Again, I want to drill in to you and for people who are watching, like, we're gonna cover FBA today, right? When you sell on Amazon, you can be a merchant or an FBA. Do you understand the difference between the two?
Yeah.
So just think of a merchant as like an eBay seller. You store everything at your house, you send everything out. The reason why we're gonna do FBA is because when you sell as an FBA seller, and this is actually a box right here. This is actually a shipment that, Zach, hide my address. I'm gonna have everyone over here. So this is actually a shipment that is getting ready to go out that I packed up yesterday, and I didn't realize it was Labor Day, so they were closed. But the goal of like today ultimately is to teach you how to get a box like this, where all the books are in here and we send them out to the Amazon warehouses. And why do we do this? One, it ends up leveraging a lot of your time. Like, you're able to save a lot of time, because when you're a merchant seller or an eBay seller, what's the number one thing that holds you back from like going from like maybe $2,000 a month to $5,000 a month?
Just the time-consuming nature of,
right? Because you have to spend your time to go source all this stuff. But the more you sell, it's like the more you have to list, the more you have to pack, the more you have to ship. There's more like returns, like more issues, right? Mm-hmm. As an Amazon FBA seller, literally your number one goal is just to source as many profitable products as possible. Why? Because Amazon FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, does the rest. So once I ship this box of books out, I think there's 13 books in here. Actually, this is actually not books. This is mostly DVDs and board games. But anyways, let's pretend they're books. Once I ship it to the warehouse, Amazon's gonna store it at the warehouse. And when it sells, they're gonna ship it to the customer. If there's any returns, if there's any refunds, if there's any customer questions, they answer all of them. When they get to the warehouse, they're gonna store it in the inventory. They're gonna pick it, they're gonna pack it, they're gonna ship it, they're gonna deal with customer service. The only thing you're gonna have to deal with once these get to the warehouse is dealing with any like back-end administrative stuff, such as like repricing. Sometimes there could be issues where like inventory gets stranded, which means maybe you sent in like a restricted book, or maybe for some reason they're saying like you didn't prep it correctly or something like that. With books, you don't really have to prep. But there's some like back-end stuff, mostly repricing your books that you could do in the back-end system on Amazon. But that's about it. So like all you have to do is focus on finding as many books as possible, sending them to Amazon. So that's number one, like saving time. That's huge. And we're gonna go more into your story, but like that's a big thing for you, right?
Yes.
Like you have different hobbies, different passions. Like you don't wanna be working 90 hours a week. Like money's not your number one. Obviously you wanna make money, but you wanna spend your time doing other things.
Right, yeah. And I do want to be able to add into what I do currently, with my main job of driving around the country. It's something that I just loved since I've been in it.
Yeah.
But it is something that I'm trying to build up where I can be off of the road more.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm divorced, no kids, and I turned 41 this year, and it's like, man, it's like if I'm ever gonna have a family and and get settled down, like getting to that point where it's getting late, so it's just being able to just start building something to provide more options, and and it's like regardless if I'm single the rest of my life, no kids, whatever, you got to at least take the steps to to give yourself that option so that you're not just thrown to the wild and taking much bigger risks that aren't very smart, so.
And it takes time, man. It's it's going to take time to learn how to do this. The whole goal of like you coming here and spending your time, your money, you could be doing a million other things right now, is to shorten the learning curve. And that's the goal of this series as well. Like instead of it taking you 3 months to figure out because you're dilly-dallying all around trying to figure it out, like I'm going to shorten it down, right? Like that's the whole goal of this. Back to what we were talking about before, another benefit of Amazon FBA is you can typically get higher prices. So one of the things that holds a lot of people back from Amazon FBA and just Amazon in general is they say, well, the fees are too high, eBay fees and payment processor fees come out to like 13% on PayPal. On Amazon, it can come out to around like 30%. Everyone's like, oh God, 30%. Like, I'm not selling on Amazon. Like, I'm not paying 30%. Let me ask you a question. If we had 2 of these copies of this book and you could sell this on eBay and make $20 profit, even though this book's selling for, I think, $120 or $130 used. Believe it or not, we'll scan it. But let's just pretend this is a $20 book. Say you make $20 profit on eBay and they charge you 13% fees, so you make like 18 bucks, right? What if this sells for 75 on Amazon and after fees you make 45? Where do you want to sell it?
Amazon.
Why? The fees are higher.
Right.
This is people's this is people's argument towards Amazon. Obviously, this is a generalization. It's not with all products.
I've looked at like the way the fees and everything kind of break down, and it's like some of the stuff I was looking at, like it's 10-15% more in fees on for Amazon, but it's like one of those things where you're covered though, like you should have all that extra time to be able to go out and source more, and just continue to just multiply, the time and the dollar amount that you actually make. And but regardless, I mean, how often, would you pay 10 or 15% extra to not have to deal with anything? You're not coming up with the box and, because I mean, you're going to spend probably, anywhere from 50 cents to $1 on a box, typically, unless you're going to, find a recycled one. And like the fee structure really isn't as bad as what it sounds, but it's.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously this was kind of a crazy example. Not every item's going to make you twice as much on Amazon versus eBay, but especially books. Books do so much better on Amazon versus eBay. Amazon FBA especially. And if you're a merchant, sometimes this book might only go for 60, but you can get 100 as an FBA seller. So you get it's called a prime bump, an Amazon prime bump. So another benefit of Amazon FBA versus a merchant is not only do you save more time, customers get it in 2 days, they get the prime shipping, but you typically get a good little prime bump, 10, 20, 30% more as an FBA seller versus a merchant. So like those are the big benefits. For me, the biggest benefit is time, because I'm very, very busy. I run an e-commerce store. I sell on eBay. I do Amazon FBA. I'm running the YouTube channel. And just like you, if you don't mind me sharing, I kind of shared it outside before because I was so excited when you told me. You used to weigh over 500 pounds. Like, that's crazy. Like, how much weight have you lost?
Right. Well, right now I'm in like the mid 250s.
Dude,
you know, so it's like
you lost to me plus more.
Yeah, so you know, it's like I'm half of where I was, but I'm 30 pounds above where I was at my lowest.
Oh, I gotcha.
I'm working my way back down there again. And,
dude, I was saying before, dude, I feel like a bloated whale right now, man. I'm like probably 10 or 15 pounds over where I should be. So, but you've lost 250 pounds, and the point I was trying to make was like, you have other things that you want to focus on other than business. Like for me, business and money isn't the most important. Like I put health, number one, health and family, right? And then business. Obviously there's some people, they have to put business as number one, but that's why I like Amazon FBA. It's very scalable. You could be on the road traveling and doing your transportation business, and you could be selling items. Amazon's processing their shipping. So like once or twice a week, you could send out an Amazon shipment and then they sell while you're on the road. Right, I've traveled the whole entire country doing this, man.
And that's actually one of the questions that I had come up with before. It was, like you mentioned, you did a road trip in one of your previous videos. Is how do you actually send things in? Because as far as like your return address and stuff, if you're bringing it into a UPS center, like, is there a problem there? Because
I used to just do my parents' house, but you can do like a friend's house as well. That's what I did. But I think back then I was just putting because you have to put where you're shipping out of, I would just put the hotel. That's what I would do. If it came back to the hotel, I'd probably be in trouble because you can't like ship, like if I'm in like Ohio, I can't put my parents' address in freaking Connecticut. So I would just put the hotel. I'm not telling you guys to do that. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are 10 times smarter than me. So I'm just giving my experience what I did.
Yeah, well, that's what I was kind of wondering because like it messes up the shipping and everything when, you
have to go in constantly and change it if you're traveling.
Yeah, because like that's one of the things. Like I mean, as younger people start to age, like watching the amount of people that participate in things like the FIRE movement, or people that one of the things that I'd been looking at was just straight up like just living in a vehicle, traveling around.
Yeah.
There's a very big group of people that do that on a regular basis. So it's like, this whole business model would work really well because, if you're living in a van or an RV or whatever, like you don't want that stuff around.
And when I'm in the next video, I'm going to be bringing everybody downstairs into my Amazon room, which isn't fancy. I moved here 4 months ago, so it's pretty bare right now. But I'm going to share all of my equipment and stuff, and you can start to visualize how you can take it on the road. And like some of my options for printers aren't going to be the best for you, so I'll give you like another option that you can use on the road. But let's keep moving along here. I want to go into some of the things that you already have an Amazon account, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to go in great detail. I am going to put a link down below in the description. If you put in your email, I'll send over a special video for you that's going to literally walk you through step by step how to actually set up an Amazon account, how to put in, nowadays they want verification. They actually send out a postcard, and let me just hide my address here. People are going to be showing up. They send out a postcard, and if you're wondering, Steve, why the heck do you have a postcard? Amazon so I moved to my new property and I changed my ship back address. And they shut my account down, and they're like, we need to verify your address. So they send out this postcard to you now, and they give you a code, and you have to go in and verify your address. So you're gonna have to put in your banking, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna put a link down below in the description. But if you guys are watching now and you wanna sell on Amazon, you have to set up your account. So it's not as easy as it used to be. You have to get verified. You have to put in, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. You were talking about it before. Like sometimes you could have issues with your license or like the banking account. So you have to be very careful. What were you saying before about that?
I had moved. I had been living in Texas for a few years, moved to New Orleans and was there for 14 months. But it's like, I'm still legally a resident of Virginia according to my license. So, they're very careful that your license, your bank account, everything has to match.
You might have to line some things up. It's a pain in the butt with some of that stuff. Like I had to get one of my new businesses that I started an e-commerce brand. I set up a new PayPal account for it, and like my business address, like things aren't matching up essentially. And it's like causing a lot of problems for me. So like now I'm having to like get postponed for like a couple weeks to get my PayPal verified to like increase limits and stuff because like everything's not matching up. So it stinks. This is how Amazon is nowadays. Why is Amazon doing this? Because Amazon's the biggest marketplace in the world right now. And what's happening, there's a lot of criminals and bootleggers and people trying to take advantage of the system. And if us as a seller, if we create a bad experience with Amazon, it's not the customer. You might think they're pissed at us, but they're not. They're pissed at Amazon. They say, you know what, Amazon? Screw you. I'm going to Target. I'm going to Walmart. So they have to protect their brand as much as possible. So my prediction is over the next couple of years, they're going to continue to make it harder and harder for people to sign up. I think they might even cut sellers off eventually, to be honest with you, because they already have so many sellers. Third-party sellers make up, someone tell me this statistic, 60 or 70% of overall sales on Amazon is from third-party sellers like you and I. It's not from, from them and their private label brands and stuff. So we make up Amazon. So it's our responsibility to do a good job. And unfortunately, in any industry, there's a couple bad apples. So they're making it harder and harder. They're starting to restrict items. They're making it harder to sell products. Books are one of the few categories where you could sell a lot of the items. There are restrictions, and we're going to talk about it in, I think, video number 3 of this 6-part series. But make sure you set up your account. In terms of costs involved to start your Amazon business, just in terms of starting an Amazon account, there's a free account and then there's a paid account. Amazon will hide the free account. They won't make it easy for you to find, but it's there. It's like a little tiny little button. Like you ever like sign up for something and there's a little tiny button like that you don't even see that. Oh. That's how Amazon has it. So there's a free account, which is free. You pretty much have all the benefits, but they charge you an extra $1 when you sell an item. So once you sell over 40 items, it actually makes sense to do the pro account, which is $40 a month, $39.99 a month.
Right. Yeah. That's what I had set up a pro account originally, but they changed it now so that if you don't sell something in like 90 days, they kick you down to individual. And they said like you can switch it back at any time. But I guess it's actually a nice thing to do rather than charging somebody $40 a month that isn't actually selling. And
exactly. So I'd recommend everyone you could start with the free account. There are some benefits of having the pro account, which when I introduce you to Scout IQ, which is the app that I'm going to recommend. There's other ones out there that you can use. A lot of them are really good, but I've used Scout IQ for well over 5 years. I use Scout IQ in Amazon Seller app. To use certain parts of Scout IQ, you do need that pro account. You can still use it without it, just not as efficient. So you can start with the free or the pro, but once you sell over 40 items a month, it makes sense to go the pro account because you're not going to get charged an extra $1 fee that the free account will charge you. So that's pretty much it for the introduction right now. I'm getting the 5-minute cutout from my video man back there, so we got to keep moving. The next video, we're going to go downstairs and I'm going to show you all of my equipment. We're going to answer a ton of questions. So this is more like a shorter kind of intro video. Ultimately, at the end of the day, how much do you want to make from this business? Like you were sharing before, how much profit do you want to make from this?
Actual profit, I was going to try to target, like 1,500 to 2,000 to just kind of supplement everything else that I'm doing. And just continue building online businesses. I enjoy eBay. It's got its flaws. So I just like to kind of expand a little bit and learn something new. Just cool. To be able to take advantage of the FBA program itself. Yeah,
I think anyone can make an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. Once you start going for like $4,000, $5,000 a month profit or more, there becomes a bit more advanced strategies. Today I'm going to teach like the beginner, the basics. There's more efficient ways to do things that I could teach, but I want to teach the beginner, the basic, the way that anybody can do it. I'm not going to share complicated printers and all these complicated systems and softwares. Like this is going to be the most kind of like basic beginner stuff to like get your results. So with that being said, let's go downstairs, man. Let's get into the equipment and supplies portion of things. You ready to do this, man?
Ready.
All right, let's go.